Hello guys, and welcome back to MonLabo Linux. So today we're gonna be talking about Podman, and we're gonna see how to use Podman to create uh, the images, okay, container images. And the image that we are going to build is going to be an image based on Terrascan and Terraform. Okay, we're going to customize it a little bit so that it can interact with our AWS account, for example. All right, so let's go started. If this sounds exciting for you, please subscribe, leave a comment, and also share. All right, so without further ado, I have here something that I prepare for that. So we have, for example, a bunch of yeah, this one is out of it. Okay, so don't focus on the script directory here. So we want to focus on containers. Okay, so this one here. And on containers, I have different stuff that I wrote here. You may see that the structure looks a little bit different compared to Docker. So I'm using Podman here. Feel free to use Docker, okay? It's just going to give you the same result. But I just want to show you that it's also possible with Podman to achieve the same result as Docker. And then we're going to push that image at the end to our account. It might be a Docker account, or maybe a Red Hat account. Okay, but for me, I'm gonna do that with Docker. So here, I'm gonna go ahead and show you. For example, the container ignore, okay, which is a hidden file, and it has some file that it ignores in case we copy something. All right. Then we have this build, for example, build.sh. The build.sh is a file. It's just a file that I have, and that will be used to remember the command that we are going to run. Then moving on, we have the most essential one. Not sorry. So we have the most essential one here. So here I'm using a Terrascan image, which is built on top of Alpine. Okay, so that's why I'm using APK here. But let me go from start to finish. Okay, that's true. I'm using container file. That's how we do it on with Podman. And here down below, you see that I have some arguments that I pass. Okay, so the arguments here will be the product that I want to download from Hashicorp, for example, and here will be the version of it. So as of uh, the topic that we have here, it's Terraform. So it means that we are going to give Terraform and the version that we want to download from the internet. All right. Okay. So here, then I'm exporting some environment variable. Okay. AWS access key, ID, AWS secret access key, and AWS region. Okay. And I'm setting up a working directory which is /AIC. Then I'm having a user. This is dangerous, I know. Just that I was having some issue to update and install some packages, so that's why I use that. That's why I can finalize it with setting up another user. Then then I have some comments here that will be run. Okay, so for example, here we are doing some installation and update as well, and then we move to some directory. I mean, it's just the process to install. So download, unzip, install the package. Okay, install the package. Then here I have just a regular Terraform file or whatever. Um, yeah, so providers, S3 bucket, for example, that will be created, some variables, versions as well. Okay, so now that you know everything, let's put everything together. Um, so something that I would like to emphasize as well is that when you check here, you will see that I have something. Anyway, let's go ahead and do that. So if you check here, for example, if I do Podman images, okay, so no image, no container, so it means that we have a clean system. So now I'm going to start. So let's do so that first script. All right, So we're going to grab that. So what is the script doing? So we run, if you remember, when you run Docker, so you can just alias it if you want. So you have Docker build, for example. Here is going to be Podman build -t. Okay, so I decided that I'm going to call this image as is, as you can see, and then after doing like that, this is the Terraform version of it that is inside. Okay, scan is just because I'm also using Terrascan inside, and TF is for Terraform that I'm using. So that's why I call it Terrascan, and then colon, I put the Terraform version as the tag. And then here, build arc, okay? So I'm passing some argument from the container file, if you remember, open to the side. So I'm passing some arguments, for example, product, which is for this one, Terraform, and then version, which is for this one, okay? Then, and I'm telling that the container file, okay, I know that you know Docker file, but here it's going to be container file. So then I'm telling that the container file will be present in the same working directory. So now let's leave it run and we'll see. And as we can see, it ran successfully. All right. So let's see a little bit what it did here. So we can see that it did it from, then it had like 9 steps to apply. So it built an argument, another argument. So these are different layers, okay? So it exported the environment variable and stuff like that. I mean, it just set them, okay? Because we are going to set the environment variable later. So after that, I set up the user as root here so that I can do some operation within the container. That's true, I did not remove it, but that's okay. So, yep. And after all that, we have everything that's running, okay? That is available for us. So now we can do Podman images, okay? So when we do Podman images, we see that it was able to pull an image, okay? An image which is from docker.io/tenable and Terrascan, and then we built our own image on top of it, which is this one, okay? So now that we did that, something that you will need to do before you run this command, because we want the container to interact with our AWS cloud account, for example. Okay, I know there are so many solutions out there that you can use out of the box, but you may not know what is underneath the hood of that image. So you want to build your own custom one. So that's what I did here. So here now, if I want to run that, it will be I have to pass these environments that you see here. Okay, I have to pass them. So and then to pass them, you can see here that I'm running a temporary container, okay, that will consume that will use the environment variable and consume the local variable on the machine that it is running. So I'm passing that. For I didn't bother to put the AWS region because it's already defined within the provider here, okay? But if I need to change, I will change it for sure. So so yeah, so here now what happened is that you have to export this, okay? So if you want to use it like this, if you want to pass it on your own, like your AWS access key ID and secret access key, you can pass that in a plain text, but I want to consume that from my environment variable that I already exported, and you will just do export, okay? So you will copy this, put that here, and then do equal, and then you pass your AWS access key ID, and same with secret access key, for example. Same with secret access key, so you do that, and here it will be secret underscore AWS secret access key, for example. Okay, so that's an example. I'm not going to run that because I already exported my own secret. So now those secret will be ported to the container that will be run. Okay, that will be run. Okay, so here I'm copying this, all right, up to here, and I'm going to explain what's going on here if you don't, if you are kind of confused with some options that you see. So basically here, so I'm running Podman run. Okay, so I'm typing Podman run and then dash dash rm to say remove the container after we are done. If we exit the container, then remove, or if we quit, remove the container, stop and delete it. Then I'm passing the environment variable as I told you, because I have them in my environment variable. I don't want to call them so that you can see the the keys. Okay, then I'm passing this one as well, and then I'm using a volume. Why am I using a volume of my present working directory? I'm using that because I want to have, I did not copy this. I mean, the way I build the image is that you may have your own custom um, uh, Terraform code that you want to run. Okay, so you don't want to have my code inside your the image. So what I did is I prefer to pass a volume with the present working directory that contains all the files that you want them to be present into the container. Okay, and then you mirror that with whatever is the present working directory that we set up here. Okay, that we set up here. So after you do that, yeah, since I'm using Red Hat based operating system, I have to tell SLNX to leave this container alone so that you can access those files. Otherwise, I will have a permission denial. You can try it. You can remove this and then you will try it. Then I'm giving it a name called TF agent, for example. All right, and then I'm passing the image. So now let's go ahead and run it. Okay, so it looks like it is up and running. So now we want to be able to see the content of that of the present working directory, for example. Okay, so we want to be able to see the content. For example, I will run an exec command and push that it is, and say, for example, the command I will run is ls minus l. Okay, so we can see that within the current working directory we have the exact match of all the files that we have here, okay, within the container. But if you are not satisfied with that, I can get into and type sh, because uh, that's ls, and then you see the exact same thing. Okay, so you will see the exact same thing here. All right, if you want, you can type environment, then you will see all your environment variable with those variables being with the value of the variable affixed to them. Okay, so I'm just gonna type exit for now. All right, exit. So if you want, you can stay within the container to run Terraform plan or whatever, but I'm just mimicking whatever will happen, for example, with whatever will happen with an automation tool. Okay, for example, if you are running that with something like GitHub Action or Jenkins or Argo CD or whatever. So here is how, for example, you are going to run it. So here we pass a command. Okay, so for example, I want to test and see the content of my see the vulnerability that I have. All right, so if I want to see that, I will paste this, and then I'm running the exec command. So Terrascan has this Terrascan, so since it's using Terrascan underneath the hood, we have Terrascan, and then it has this command to scan an entire directory. Okay, that will have, so we are giving it the location, and that entire directory will have Terraform files. So I'm using the infrastructure as code to Terraform for that, and then I want the output as JSON. So if I type enter, for example, all right, so this is what we will have. So as we can see, I can already see that I'm having some violation here, okay? Some violation on some rules set by Terrascan. So here, all user read access, all right? And it says that you have it, it's a high vulnerability, and it tells me here what is that. Misconfigure S3 bucket can leak private information to the entire internet and allow unauthorized data tampering slash deletion. Okay, so and it is high. This is the rule ID, this is the category on identity access management, and resource name is this, okay, bucket underscore ACL, and the resource type of Terraform is AWS S3 bucket ACL, for example, and it tells me that okay, it was from the root module, and it's coming from this S3 bucket file. So here we can take a look at it if you want, and we will see that we have that code somewhere here, okay. So it tells me, and is on line 11, which is this, so line 11. So which means that Terrascan is working perfectly fine, okay. And then we have a second rule here for enabling S3 versioning will enable easy recovery from both unattended user action like delete or override. And override, okay, is also high. This is the rule ID, and category is resiliency, okay, and this is, yeah, so everything is there, and then it tells me um, how many vulnerability level do I have, okay, how many policy were validated and how many were violated. Yeah, so this is quite impressive, right? So now let's say we are okay with everything, and now we want to run, we want to continue, okay, and then we want to continue. So you can set something like that and then pass that policy to see if something is violated, then the script should stop, for example, so no further execution should happen. But on our case, we are going to suppose that we want to continue, for example. So if I type Terraform, so I'm using Podman exec -it tf agent, and then here you can see I'm typing Terraform init, okay. That's the same thing I would have done if I was on my physical machine, for example. So it's running the Terraform init. Let's wait. And then finally, you can see that he has downloaded the necessary plugins, okay, provider plugins. And here you can see that we have some directories that also initialize. This is happening within the container, okay? But because of the volume, we will see whatever is happening within the container here as well, okay? So we see what is initialized, and so and so and so. So now if I have some files, for example, that are in need of formatting, if any, okay, so I will just do fmt, okay, nothing for now. Let's see if everything is okay, for example, okay. So let's type that. Oops, oops, sorry. So we validate if the configurations are fine. So it is checking. Let's give it some time. Okay, it says success. The configuration is valid. All right. So now we're gonna do Terraform plan. So if it plans well, it means that it is consuming the AWS secret access key ID and secret key. Okay, so let me paste that and let's cover this. Hopefully it will not come up with an error. All right, nice. It planned successfully, so it's going to create a random pet resource type, We have resource name as random name, and we have local file getting started. For example, we have AWS S3 ACL, we have bucket ACL, and then we have the S3 bucket that will be created. Okay, and finally the archive file. All right. So these are just for example purposes, but now something that I want to do is to show you that um, I don't have any bucket that it will try to create on its own. So let's see if I'm still logged in here. Okay, yeah. Um, so as you can see, I have two buckets here, just these two here. Okay, so I'm going to run that and see if it's going to create anything there. So let's do Terraform apply dash auto dash approve, for example, and then run that. So let's see what will happen. Hopefully nothing will break. Okay, wow, it is executing until it gets to creating S3 bucket ACL. Okay, so it failed on ACL, but it created a bucket at least. Okay, weirdly only readily natively blue green. So this is because this user that I have on my account and which I'm executing the code against with is not authorized to perform S3 put bucket ACL. Okay, so that's the reason. But let's see if the bucket was created by refreshing this. And if I click here, yep, we can see that the bucket was created a few minutes ago. Okay, like 1 minute ago, and that's just today. All right, so now since we do full automation here, we want to make sure that it can also delete. Okay, so let's do this and say destroy. So let's destroy whatever we created. Okay, now let's wait for it to destroy everything for us. Okay, so it destroy everything. So we still have this guy here. Let's refresh. Okay, he has gone, which means that it's working pretty fine. But now, what if you want to push that to your account, for example? If you want to push that to your account, you have to you have to tag the image according to where you want to push it. Okay, you have to tag it. So you have to log in, then I mean you have to log in, you tag, and then you push it. Okay, so let's log in. For example, I have my docker my hub.docker.com account. Okay, and I already have that image push over there, which is this one. So if you want to use it, you can use it, but it has some severity because I enable docker scout for that. Okay, you can see that I already pushed that, and so if you want to use it, you can just do a docker pull or whatever tools that you are using to do containerization. Okay, so you can see here that I have, for example, general overview of everything, how to use it and what it expects, and some comments that you can use. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you can do that with Podman. So to do that with Podman, you do Podman login. Okay, login, and then you can tag. So by default, if you put this, it's going to wait for you to log in, but not to how you call that again, to Docker. Okay, by default it's going to point to another registry. Right, for example, my Docker user account is, so I pass that, and the password is this. So let's see. Okay, it log into Docker successfully. But if you want to point to a specific registry, you can, for example, type here docker.io. Okay, because sometimes it uses. I don't know if it's because I already logged in before, but you can do like that if it doesn't work for you. Now that we have successfully logged in, so what we can do is to push that image over there. Okay. Now, for you to push, if you remember, if you do Podman images, okay, yes, oops, Podman images, all right, you will see that you have something that looks like this, all right. So you can decide to tag it to your username so that it knows where to push it, okay. So we will do um, Podman tag Podman tag, and then you can take the whole thing here, this, okay, or just here like this. So you can take that and let me, oops, sorry. So we can put it like this and then say that we want to have that, for example, to be tagged to my account. Okay, I'll call that go style. That's the name over there, slash, and then we paste that and put our 1.14.0. Okay, and then you can push it. So now you tag like this, okay, and then you do Podman push, for example. So you can do so images again. You will see that you have something like this, okay. So you record that local host. That's how it does to identify what is the registry, okay, that you are using. So that's what we have now. So I'm going to say that it has to push it, okay. So I'm gonna have this here, copy, and say Podman push, and then put that and type this, okay. So fail to pass authentication scope, and what happened? Mm, okay. Okay, yeah, it's because it already exists. So I told you that I already had it there. So it already exists. So it's like, okay, I don't know what you want me to do, but it looks like we already have it there. So that's how you will see that here, and then you can add a category, you can add a description, you can add other information. You can see here that I built that 8 hours ago. But I just wanted to show you how you can make it possible with Terraform within Podman, within an image built with Podman, and yeah, I make it work. So if you just want to check the version of Terraform, you can do this. For example, you check the version, and you will see with the provider versions too, because we have them installed, and it's 1.14.0. And for Terrascan, you can just put the same here and type enter. You have the version. So now if you want to clean up everything, okay, I have a special command here for me to do that. So here's the command. I want to clean up everything, so let me stop this guy here first. So I can stop Control C, and it is done. So the container will be removed, and here I can just type Podman RMI minus F and then put this, okay, because I'm obtaining all the images, and minus F, so it's going to delete everything. Now if I do Podman images, nothing. Now we do Podman logout. Okay, as you can see, it said remove credential for registry. Oops, this. All right, but that's, yeah. So he just decided to say like that, but sometime you can do like this too. Okay, just like you did for that. So he say not logged in, so it's okay. But if you have any issue, just put that as is. Okay, log in and log out like that. So that's all. Um, thank you for following and also practicing along while watching my video. It's really rewarding for me to have your thumbs up, comments, and appreciation, and share also with some people. I'm going to delete that and then we are fine. So I'm going to delete this, delete this, oh, no, not that one, this, and that's all. All right. So now, bye bye. See you. Take care.